We will call to order a special board meeting of the Board of Election Commissioners for the City of Chicago. Good morning. My name is Marisel Hernandez. I'm the chairwoman. Seated to my left is Commissioner Jonathan Swain, and to my right is Commissioner William Kresse. Next item on the agenda is consideration of the agenda. Are there any suggested changes? If not, we'll proceed. Well, with the next item, approval of the minutes. We have no minutes today. So we will proceed with the Executive Director's report. Mr. Gough?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to go over a couple of items for the board members. As you know, this coming weekend is the big push. We have nursing home voting Friday, Saturday, and Monday, and it's a large number. We also, last weekend, we did the pretrial detainees. We did over 650, and it went very well. We didn't have any complaints that we've heard from anybody from the jail or anyone else, so I'm very happy about that. Just to let you know that we do have not a huge return on apps vote by mail. I think, Jim, we need to send out an email to all the people that requested vote by mail online, that we can remind them to get those ballots back in the mail. We only have, what we looked at it, we only have about a third return.
13,000 or so.
We have a little bit more than 13,000, yeah. And we're gonna start getting, hopefully by Thursday's the last time when we mail ballots out. Monday was a holiday, so we hope to get a huge number of ballots that are ready to go out today and tomorrow. So it's just getting to that point where we're getting nervous. We still have 1,000 ESCs in the warehouse. I know we spoke to one of the moving companies. They're making a huge push this weekend, but it's getting a little to that point, that crunch time. We have 9 vacancies a week before the election in polling places. I just want to let the board members know that if we don't get vote centers, we need to look at reducing the number of precincts. It's harder and harder to get polling places. It's killing us. You know, we just had the November election and we had so many refusals. And I know we're working with Justice Department. In fact, we have a meeting with Justice Department today at 3 o'clock, along with other agencies. But it's getting harder and harder to do it. So
What's the source of the refusals this go around? We just had an election.
It's largely a lot of failures to respond.
well,
So at a certain point, Brandon and his team have had to go to Plan B. But go ahead.
but we have gone to these people and they, for what we pay, they don't want to open up. It costs more to heat their place than the $130 or whatever we pay.
$130.
Yeah, so it's harder and harder, and people don't want somebody going through their places. I mean, we're using abandoned storefronts. We had a couple of them that came online that we were able to pick up and use. So these are things that I'm telling the board's going to have to look at, because if we don't get vote centers, we're going to have to reduce the number of precincts.
The 9 locations, are they spread across the city or?
Spread across the city. They'll be in, Brandon knows that he has to have those in the system by Thursday. We have to get them out in the mail on Thursday. So, you know, I hate to put, Brandon's doing a great job considering all the refusals that we've had. But it's a security reason also. A lot of people don't want to bring somebody into their location. So. But, you know, a barometer tells you how voting goes is what happens this weekend with nursing home voting. If nursing home voting goes real smoothly, then the election day will go real smoothly. If we have a problem, then we're going to have a problem on Tuesday. So this is something that we need to look at. But overall, everything seems well. We're having a meeting tomorrow at 10:30 in my office to talk about the ballot for the April election. I know we haven't finished this election yet, but we have to get prepared and get a move on it. So everybody's putting in long hours. The warehouse is really caught up on pre-lat, so they're only working till 4 o'clock for the next couple of days, which is great to give them a break, because they're going to get busy over the weekends and election day, they'll be working 20 hours.
So can you give me a sense of, you're talking about the April ballot, a sense of timing, because if certification happens on, after 2 weeks after, which would be the 13th-ish, is that right?
Right.
Right, and so at what point in time will we contemplate having a ballot to send out for a vote by mail?
That's why we're gonna meet tomorrow.
Okay.
As soon as I get that meeting, I'll send an email to the board members and let you know, but that's why we wanna sit down and go over this.
So let's hope things are very clear.
That's what we're praying, that things are real clear.
Right, because if they're not that clear, then everything gets
Right.
muddled in terms of timing and all that kind of stuff, so.
I just want to go back to the vote by mail, this week. Can we do, just, today's Tuesday, say, 7 days to have that ballot postmarked, to something like a countdown? And then, is there a way to remind these people that if they want, they could still use early voting? Just bring the ballot?
That's what we hope to put on that email that we send out to everybody.
Maybe do it every day
Yeah.
from now and for, just to remind people, you could still vote by mail, just bring your ballot with you.
All right.
Because we're at like
I
nine
mean, vote by mail, vote in
person.
early vote.
On election day.
And,
Because right now, as I understand it, we got about 99,000 people requested ballots.
No,
no,
55.
no, we
55?
mailed out about 56,000, and we
56?
have about 13,000 already back,
13,000 already back, got it, okay, yep,
so.
Mhm.
got it.
so.
No, nine, okay, you're right, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So we're trying, if we can make that clear to get that ballot returned to us. I went to early vote yesterday, and it was, considering we have so much equipment at these different locations, it's like a ghost town. I mean, it really was.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
I just don't know what kind of turnout we're gonna get on election day.
On the, just on the vote by mail, what percentage do we have emails?
I would have to look that up. I mean, the vast majority of them have been coming electronically, so those do have emails.
I'm just curious, who's getting our message,
I,
what percentage?
roughly, 70% of them, I think, have come through electronic means, because there was not any campaign that did a mass mailing where they guessed at which voters might support them, like we saw in November, where they used primary voting records and they could send out, virtually 1 million letters. And that's not the case this time, where you have 14 candidates for mayor, and no one knows exactly who their voters are.
Well, just to echo Lance's observation, my wife and I early voted yesterday at one of the more popular ward locations. And one of the judges there was telling me that they're down about 100 person per day. And that usually on a holiday, they get a lot more, and they were down, they thought about 400
Well,
yesterday.
I would question that judge's memory,
Okay.
because we have 14, this is our 14th, 13th year of early voting, 14th. We've never had large numbers on holidays, whether it's Pulaski Day, Columbus Day, President's Day, or on Sunday. So I question the whole movement of let's have an election day holiday, because so far the data that we have from 14 years doesn't support that. People do other things on their holiday and their
They'll
Sunday.
make a 3-day weekend out of it.
Exactly, and then they'll be out of town, so.
Which will increase vote by now. But the numbers are way down.
Yeah, so far.
The numbers are down, so. But that's all I have for the board.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Holliday?
Good morning.
Good morning.
As of yesterday, we have 10,735 assigned judges, 1,071 Democratic vacancies, 1,676 Republican vacancies, 46 precincts with less than 3 judges. We have a total of 16 judge training classes, 6 high school students, and 10 new and standby judges. On Thursday and Friday, the election coordinator supply pickup. Friday, election judge key pickup, and those that are not picked up on Friday, they will pick them up on Saturday out at the early voting site in their ward. Our e-poll book, Brian Wheatley of ES&S and Al Chase from our IT department are finalizing data for the e-poll book, as well as some additional testing. Thursday at 10 a.m. is our public test on the 6th floor. This past weekend, I met with Ron Boyd and the remote site supervisors in their training for election night. Friday at 3, I'll be meeting with Jim Carley and the receiving station supervisors. On Sunday, February 24th, we'll be hosting the synagogue election in the lower level from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And also Sunday, we will have our election central staff meeting at 9:30. Outside of that, I'm just continuing to work with the managers and staff to ensure that they have all they need for our staff, the equipment and supplies.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. Mr. Allen?
Good morning. Briefly, most of the work is involved dealing with media requests for data. We have 1.58 million registered voters, which is a rather high number, which means it's going to be that much harder to get to 40% turnout. A lot of questions not only about the voter registration totals, but then how many are new registrations in 2018 or 2019, what the levels are by ward for early voting and vote by mail. So we're just trying to nail everything down now for election day. That's all.
Okay, great. There are no further questions. We will go into old business, infrastructure projects and changes in election administration and voting equipment. I think we're addressing that after these elections. Electronic poll books, so far so good. We're doing well with them. And legislation, Mr. Lasker.
Good morning. I've been told there's going to be an omnibus bill this year for election law amendments, and we're on the list. We're trying to push through. Everything that's on our list has been presented, and we're trying to gather the support to push it.
Including what we've discussed recently?
Yes, and so I'm particularly, trying to push on the vote centers because, as Mr.
Right.
Gough pointed out, we really need those. Also pushing the ability to update signatures for comparisons on vote-by-mail envelopes. We could also do that with the electoral board. So some of the more important issues I'm trying to push a little harder, just get them into that omnibus bill, which I understand, as of a couple days ago, it wasn't filed yet. It's going to happen later in the legislative session, but still this session.
And how about the, what we were talking about, mail ballots, not
Permanent
have.
roster.
Yeah, that's on our wish list as well.
Okay.
And there's other legislation that's already been sponsored that somewhat similar too. So we're tracking those bills, but trying to push our own agenda through on that omnibus bill.
Okay.
Any word as to automatic automatic voter registration? I know it's being hung up by the Secretary of State's office.
I haven't personally looked into that issue for a while. I mean, last I heard is we're waiting for them to get their real IDs in place, and then it'll take off.
They're still having some problems with it.
Yeah.
Right, because they're supposed to start, what, February or March?
No. Last day
Last-
projected was May or June.
Oh, okay, I mean, I'm thinking
But
last
previously-
summer.
Oh, it was
we-
originally-
okay.
Real IDs, they're long overdue on real IDs.
Was it January 1st, 2017 or something?
Yeah, 3 years overdue. But real IDs are the key to
We have no financial report. I did not receive any requests for public comment. Oh,
New
I'm
business.
sorry,
New business.
I completely skipped new business. Under new business, we have a professional services agreement between the Chicago Board of Elections and Michael Murphy, and this is a contract for Mr. Murphy to provide recruitment, training, supervision, and management of the board's election day investigators, and to assist the board in preparing emergency security policies and procedures for Election Central, and developing a written contingency plan regarding this same factor. And the term of the contract is January 1st through December 31st, 2019, at the rate of $90 per hour, for a sum not to exceed $20,000.
Question, why is it so long?
Because in addition to the supervisors, for the election day investigators, he's going to be continuing to work with us throughout the year for creating a security plan for here at 69 West Washington as a part of our permanent contingency plan. But also, realistically, his work does go on all throughout the course of the year when it comes to keeping the roster of field supervisors in place. Does some recruiting and training throughout the year as well. So just to give him the flexibility on that.
Okay.
But we expect that we will have an articulated or written contingency plan by the end of the year?
Hopefully beforehand, and that would,
I mean, with regards to his area.
Correct.
with regards to here, that's part of our overall, it will be incorporated into our contingency plan.
Right, I just want to make sure that, you know,
Mhm.
with the length of this, that it includes, he will produce the deliverable.
He's already got the ideas. It's just trying, for example, if there's going to be a secondary location, nailing that down. There's details that need to be nailed down, but he's got the ideas already working in his mind, so.
Good.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve the professional services agreement with Michael Murphy for the period of January 1st through December 31st, 2009, at the rate of $90 per hour, not to exceed $20,000 for the year?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next is the I think, are we deferring that?
Yes,
Yes.
Item B.
at the request of the principal proponents of that referendum petition, they couldn't make it to the meeting today, so we'll push it to the March 12th meeting.
Okay, thank you. So we will defer B, and we will go on to C, resolution to authorize the disposal of materials from the 2017 special election in the 4th Ward.
This, Madam Chairwoman, is just a part of our routine business down at the warehouse. We are required by state and federal law to preserve election paper documents for up to 2 years. Due to a pending litigation involving the March 2016 primary, we still haven't been able to dispose of those materials. It's getting a little backed up at the warehouse. We want to try to get these special election from 2017 materials cleared out as soon as we can for when they bring back everything from this February election. So the resolution would authorize the disposal of the paper documents from the special election that was held in the 4th Ward on 28th day of February 2017. It won't be until the 28th day of this month, this year, that we can start disposing.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Lasker, is there a legal report today?
Well, Mr. Gough has mentioned that we've got the nursing home voting going on this weekend, and we do have some lawyers covering the Election Central for that, so that we know that the board will have good answers in place if any issues arise. We've also had favorable responses from about 2/3 of our Election Central attorneys. Trish is helping hound the rest to get answers for this Sunday's briefing session, and then obviously for service on Election Day. We now have received favorable rulings from all of our electoral board cases that were appealed to the circuit court. So at the circuit court level, our decisions were affirmed in all of those cases. Three of those cases are pending in the appellate court. That includes the two cases involving the city clerk candidates. We do have notices up in the polling places. We are making the font a little larger. And we've still been receiving calls about it though. So again, let me just tell the public that your votes at this current stage would not count for Patricia Horton and Elizabeth Betty Arias Ibarra for the office of city clerk. That case we should get an answer from the appellate court by the end of this week on those cases if nothing changes. And then we'll have to see if they take it another step further. The other case in the appellate court is involving Zerlina Smith, an aldermanic candidate in the 29th Ward. Actually just received the brief from her opposition on that this morning during this meeting. And so again, hopefully by the end of the week, if not early next week, Monday, have an appellate court decision on that one.
Oh, great, thank you. We have, I'll repeat again, we have no financial report. We have not received any requests for public comment. Is there any for executive session?
No.
If not, then we will adjourn to next Tuesday, Election Day, February 26th at 7:30 a.m.
7 a.m.
7 a.m.?
7 a.m.?
7 a.m.
At 7 a.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.